Okay, we're going to take a look at Ryan at his initiation point, taken from the back and from the side. The initiation point is after the batter has taken his stride. So he's in a stance, he takes a stride, the front foot has landed, and yet the bat has not started its rotational path into contact. So this is basically the position that the batter gets himself and the bat into in preparation for accelerating the bat and eventually making contact. So if you were going to look at the video that this was taken from, the next frame the bat will start rotating and coming around. Up to this point, though, the bat is being moved, manipulated here and there, but it really has not started accelerating toward the ball. So that's the point of initiation, and these are the positions that this player has gotten himself and the bat into to start that rotation. He does a pretty good job overall for his age, particularly. There's no really glaring errors. A couple of things that I do take a look at is just represented by these two arrows, the blue and the red arrow. The red arrow and the blue arrow, for that matter, are both drawn straight down, right in the middle of the head. And the red arrow is showing that he's pretty well centered between the feet. He's slightly toward the backside, but it's probably okay the way he's positioning himself here. A lot of young batters will have that red arrow quite a bit closer to the back foot. Be careful, though. I would say make sure you don't get the weight back further than what you see in this picture. The blue arrow is a way to kind of see how much the batter is getting himself kind of angled or tilted over the plate. That's done by the way the batter is loading and primarily the spine angle. And in looking at the blue arrow, you can see that Ryan, his feet and his knees are to the left of that blue arrow. And that's indicating he's doing a pretty good job of loading and getting himself over the plate. Again, a lot of young players will be a lot more upright than this, and that blue arrow would strike down, hit the knees or hit the toes, because they are not angled over enough. So he's doing a pretty good job overall at initiation, I would say. A couple of things to watch for that he could maybe improve a little bit on, starting with the front foot. I've noticed that on some pitches, some swings, he has a tendency to have that front foot open up and point a bit too much toward the pitcher. In this, the right pitcher doesn't look too bad, but it's just something to be careful about. You don't want to have that front foot and the front leg opening up too much as you're landing the foot. So make sure you keep it relatively closed. The red horizontal line is drawn from the top of the hands straight across, and you can see that it's hitting Ryan about at his chin level. Most major leaguers will have that a little higher than this, that a little bit elevated more toward the ear or even the upper ear, up at the top of the top of the ear. I think if you look at the left picture, the yellow line is basically a shoulder line. It's perpendicular to the spine. And I think he would do well to sort of elevate the whole shoulders, the shoulder complex, effectively kind of shrugging the shoulders up a bit more. There's a lot of movement potential in the shoulders, and I think if you raised up the whole shoulder complex, it'll help get a little bit better alignment of the bat and on the arm to the swing plane, and raise that red line would then show up a little bit higher than what he's doing here. Having said all that, I think he's doing a pretty good job, for his age at his initiations. I took a look at what Ryan does as he's landing the front foot, which brings him to the initiation point we just looked at. And he does a pretty good job here in that as the foot is landing, he's rotating the hips, the body is starting to rotate as that foot is coming down. You can probably see that here in slow motion. This is a good thing also. Some young players, the foot kind of lands, and then there's a pause, and then the body starts rotating. So keep doing this. You want it to have sort of a smooth motion of stride, and as the foot is landing, as the front foot is planting, the strong rotation of the body needs to ensue right away, which is what he's doing here. I would work on maybe even increasing the speed of the rotation as that foot is coming down to really drive the rotation and get a good start to the swing. So having looked at the initiation and the early part of the swing, which Ryan's doing fairly well at, Let's continue on and look sort of when the bat is coming into contact, or the latter part of the swing. And I can see some issues here that he should probably be working on. If you look at this loop here, you can see that the bat is sort of moving through the latter parts of the swing. And take a look at the hips, take a look at the shoulders, look at the number on his back here. You can see that the bat is being rotated not by the rotation of the torso, it's being rotated by movement of the arms. The arms are kind of pushing forward. Sometimes I call this independent arm movements. Basically, it's arm movements which are not linked to the rotation of the body. You really want to drive the bat by the rotation of the torso, by the rotation of the hips. It's not what's happening here. The whole latter part of the swing, really there's no movement of the torso at all, and all the movement is being done by the arms. So Ryan needs to sort of learn how to turn better. He's starting to swing pretty well, but his turning is where he's kind of falling a little short. So he needs to work on continuing the rotation throughout the swing and all the way into contact. I was looking at Stanton's swing the other day, and you can really see how all the way on through to contact, those hips and his torso is rotating. There's no stoppage of that rotation. You can see Ryan, again, you can see how the body doesn't really move in the latter part of the swing. The arms are driving the bat, and he's losing a lot of power because of this. So he needs to kind of work on getting that contact, the rotation all the way through onto contact. Looking at another swing, you see much the same thing. You can also see from this view how the wrists are rolling over basically at contact. You don't want that to happen. There's a small amount of rotation which does occur as the bat comes into the contact zone, but there's kind of folding over or the rolling over of the hands, which you see here, really shouldn't occur at contact. It should be quite a bit later. It's sort of when the bat is well after contact and it's coming around a little further. That's the point that the wrists should kind of roll over and not what you're seeing here. Here's the other swing. Ryan, again, is using the arms to independently manipulate the bat, to independently rotate the bat into contact, resulting in quite a bit of loss of power.